So the Pete Buttigieg campaign is again in the news for some of their sketchy practices around who the campaign receives their donations from. So the campaign last Friday released a list of about 100 of their top donors who had donated more than $25,000 to the campaign, and his campaign has said that they're striving to be the most transparent campaign in the race, but time and time again we can see, that's very far from the truth because Politico released a report on Tuesday that detailed 20 more of the top 20 more of the top kind of donors to the Buttigieg campaign, and some of the people that were left off the initial list that was released Friday. The ones that were released Tuesday, detail some pretty shady characters that have, donated large sums of money to the Buttigieg campaign, and obviously, it makes sense why these, questionable characters were left off the first list, because it would paint an even worse picture of, who Buttigieg himself and his campaign are willing to, take donations from in order to, further his political agenda. So one of the people works at the Centerbridge hedge fund. They were this kind of vulture capitalist hedge fund that had some investments in Puerto Rican bonds, and as a result of Centerbridge hedge funds' shady practices, the Puerto Rican pension system was basically destroyed, causing a lot of harm to the working people and their families in Puerto Rico. So that's one person that the Buttigieg campaign tried to hide from the public that was, supporting Buttigieg. There's also John Petrie, I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right. He's a charter school founder. That's obviously, just kind of troubling on its face to me, as well as a lawyer who repped big banks during the last financial crisis. His name is Jin Cohen. So those are just kind of three of the ones that were pointed out in this Common Dreams article. So you got this, person that works for this really shady hedge fund, and then you got a charter school founder, and then you got a lawyer who represented the big banks during the, last financial crisis. And these were just three of the more than 20 other top campaign contributors that the Buttigieg campaign failed to disclose last Friday. And, how does a reasonable person square the fact that their campaign tries to bill themselves as the most transparent campaign when they're literally hiding these top donors from the public when they're trying to make these proclamations? Oh, here's all of our campaign donors. It was just an accident that we forgot to list some of these more sketchy people that have given money to us. But anyways, here's some more. It was, just the honest mistake. You can believe us. It's like, how dumb do they really think people are, or how dumb do you have to be? That's Evan. I don't know if you heard that. But how dumb do you have to be to support the Buttigieg campaign at this point, after we have so much evidence that, he is a shill for the wealthy, oligarchic, corporate, neoliberal, centrist elite, and he's, time and time again that he's willing to do their bidding on a number of issues. It wasn't more than a couple weeks ago that there was, after a campaign event in Iowa, somebody went up to and asked him what he thought. Would he open up his fundraisers to the public, or would he stop taking donations from billionaires? And he said flat out no. Like, we need to listen to him when he tells us who he really is, and not try to prop him up to be, something he's not. He's willing to say and do anything to get elected. For example, Pete Buttigieg was for Medicare for all in 2018, and he's not for it now. And what do you know? He's received over $90,000 in contributions to his campaign from the for-profit healthcare industry as well as, the pharmaceutical industry as well. And funny how that is. He was for Medicare for all, and now that he's received, a huge chunk of money from those industries, he's like, oh no, it's Medicare for all who want it. It just makes more sense. We gotta be pragmatic. We can't afford that. It's like, oh my goodness, do we have to go through the same debacle that we went through in 2016 by the Democratic establishment and the propping up the neoliberal centrist status quo candidate and Hillary Clinton? And look what we ended up when we did that. We ended up with Donald Trump. We need to not make the same mistake twice. Like, this is like, we're at a huge tipping point in so many ways with our climate, our economy, our imperialism, the military industrial complex. All of these huge structural changes need to happen, and we need a candidate who's willing to stand up to the entrenched corporate interests. And that's not Pete Buttigieg. He represents that entrenched status quo oligarchic interests. Bernie Sanders is the only one who will stand up for these super important things that we need to get yesterday, like Medicare for all, like a Green New Deal, like free college, like ending the drug war, like ending, restraining the military industrial complex, ending the school to prison pipeline, criminal justice reform, all of these different things. He's our only hope, not me, us, Bernie 2020. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comment sections below. Also, once I get to 50 subscribers, I will make a polar plunge video in a local river, and it's currently winter here in the Pacific Northwest, so it would be quite chilly.